She danced into our living rooms, handed out free TVs, and told us every single day to be kind. For 19 seasons, Ellen DeGeneres was the friendliest face on television, a beacon of positivity. She felt like an old friend, always ready with a laugh and a heartwarming story. Then that carefully constructed mask slipped. By the time the credits rolled on her final episode, she had become the textbook example of a Hollywood fall from grace. It was a dizzying descent that left many wondering, how did the Queen of Nice keep the illusion alive for almost 2 decades? And what finally cracked the foundation so loudly that even her most devoted fans couldn't ignore it? In 1986, a young stand-up with a pixie cut nervously waited to meet Johnny Carson. One brilliant 5-minute set later, Carson waved her over to the couch, a legendary gesture that catapulted Ellen from a club comic to a national sensation. By the mid-90s, she had her own sitcom, Ellen, cementing her place in American households. Then in 1997, she staged what Variety called the most hyped coming out in TV history. Her character in Ellen herself came out as gay, a groundbreaking moment that drew 42 million viewers. But the bravery came with a price. Advertisers fled, the show was axed, and her career was declared over. Instead, Ellen rewrote the story. In 2003, she returned to daytime with a talk show built on 3 little words: be kind. America, eager for positivity, bought it wholesale. It was the perfect antidote for a chaotic world. The Ellen DeGeneres show wasn't just a chat fest. It was a syndication juggernaut, a money-making machine clearing an astounding $12 million a day at its peak. Warner Brothers gave her near-total control, and in return, staffers signed ironclad NDAs, trading their silence for glamorous jobs. But behind the cheerful facade, crew members described a workspace shrouded in fear. Email subject lines reportedly read, "Don't look Ellen in the eye." One ex-producer told BuzzFeed, "We were instructed to hide in offices if she arrived early, because eye contact could literally get you sent home." This hidden hostility meant the facade was perfectly polished. When guests like Jennifer Aniston or Michelle Obama praised the show's warm atmosphere, viewers believed them. The sheer scale of the operation and the constant message of kindness made it almost impossible to imagine anything less than perfection. The first cracks for years, rumors about a less-than-kind Ellen were dismissed as industry gossip. In 2018, her former bodyguard from the Oscars posted on Reddit, stating, "The nice thing is 100% an act." A year later, a YouTuber claimed he was treated rudely backstage. The internet largely shrugged it off. The brand was simply too strong. The real earthquake arrived in March 2020 as pandemic lockdowns had everyone glued to their screens. Comic Kevin T. Porter fired off a tweet that would unravel everything. "Ellen is notoriously one of the meanest people alive. Reply with your stories, the dam burst." Within 48 hours, the thread exploded with over 2,000 replies, claiming everything from verbal abuse to outright termination for minor infractions. Suddenly, the whispers weren't just whispers. They were a roar, and media outlets, sensing a seismic shift, finally smelled blood. On July 16, 2020, BuzzFeed News delivered the knockout blow with twin exposés. One article quoted 11 former employees, painting a picture of a culture of fear. The second, more damning piece detailed allegations that senior producers engaged in rampant sexual misconduct and harassment. The claims were specific and heartbreaking. A Black employee recounted being told her box braids looked too ghetto. Another crew member was allegedly asked to remove a medical wristband from her cancer surgery, presumably so Ellen wouldn't see it. Writers resorted to a private Slack channel, morbidly nicknamed the Sad Cabin, to swap horror stories. The fallout was swift. Warner Brothers launched an investigation. 3 executive producers were fired, and Ellen emailed staff stating, "I'm committed to ensuring this does not happen again." But to many insiders, it felt like a carefully worded attempt to salvage her image. Too little, too late. The celebrity silence was deafening, but soon famous faces broke rank. Actor Brad Garrett tweeted, "Sorry, Ellen, the I didn't know defense doesn't fly when you control the entire brand." The internet resurfaced Dakota Johnson's infamous 2019 appearance, where she corrected Ellen on air about a birthday party invitation. What was once awkward now looked like proof of Ellen's coldness, racking up 20 million new views. Fans also rewatched a 2008 interview where Ellen invasively tried to force Mariah Carey to reveal a pregnancy. Carey later miscarried, adding a tragic layer to the clip. Clip compilations titled "Ellen Being Rude" racked up hundreds of millions of views. The "be kind" catchphrase became a bitter punchline. Twitter turned it into a sarcastic verb. You just got Ellened, meaning to be treated poorly by someone pretending to be nice. The consequences quickly hit the ratings. Season 18 premiered to a catastrophic 38% drop in viewership. Advertisers like General Motors and Wells Fargo began shifting their ad dollars to safer properties. In cities like Detroit and Phoenix, local affiliates moved her once prime show to graveyard time slots. Staff layoffs soon followed, with the show slashing its crew from 250 to 130. Ellen renewed through a final season, promising a triumphant farewell. Instead, it played out like an awkward mea culpa tour. The studio audience, once a coveted prize, became a ghost town of cardboard cutouts, a stark visual metaphor for the show's hollowed-out appeal. In September 2020, Ellen opened her new season with a televised apology. "I learned that things happened that never should have. I'm so sorry," she stated. But critics called the speech robotic, noting she devoted more time to joking about her quarantine hair than offering a heartfelt mea culpa. Former employees told reporters the apology felt utterly performative, especially since no one from the show, least of all Ellen, had reached out to them personally. The tangible consequences piled up. A lucrative 2021 deal with Discovery Plus for a nature docu-series was quietly shelved. The narrative was set. Ellen DeGeneres was toxic real estate in Hollywood. Following her show's finale, Ellen largely retreated from the public eye. After selling her lavish Beverly Hills compound, she and her wife, Portia de Rossi, permanently moved to the English countryside in November 2024, a decision she later said was triggered by the re-election of Donald Trump. Life in the UK was meant to be a quiet, self-imposed exile, but by mid-2025 she admitted to being a little bit bored with her new rural life. She planned a series of In Conversation with events across the UK for late 2025, but in a telling move, the entire tour was abruptly canceled in September without explanation, and all tickets were refunded. The stand-up circuit, once her first love, remained equally frigid, with bookers fearing her name would crater ticket sales. In September 2024, Ellen returned to the spotlight with a Netflix special, For Your Approval, billed as her last stand-up performance. She addressed the scandal head-on, quipping, "I was kicked out of show business for being mean." She complained that being known as the mean girl is like wearing a scarlet U for unkind, framing herself as the victim. Critics were divided. Variety praised her vulnerability, while the Daily Beast called it a masterclass in self-pity. The special peaked at number 3 on Netflix's top 10 before quickly dropping off. It was less a triumphant return and more a quiet, awkward farewell. How did she fool everyone for so long? First, timing was everything. Her show launched in 2003 as a calm, kind alternative to the vicious drama of reality TV. Second, she expertly weaponized giveaways. Nothing buries bad press like gifting an audience brand new cars, cultivating an image of generosity that was hard to argue with. Third, she meticulously controlled access. Staff NDAS in a culture of silence meant any dissenting voices never reached the public. Fourth, Hollywood profited from the myth. A hit Ellen segment could add millions to a film's opening weekend, creating a powerful incentive to maintain the illusion. Finally, and most crucially, audiences genuinely wanted to believe. After the backlash she faced for coming out, buying into the nice narrative felt like a form of cultural restitution. We collectively agreed to ignore the whispers because the fairy tale felt too good to interrogate. If this story is making you rethink the celebrities you trust, hit subscribe, it's free, and drop a comment telling us which public persona you think will crack next. We read every single one. When Ellen's empire fell, it sent shockwaves through daytime television. Dozens of shows frantically rewrote employee handbooks and mandated HR hotlines to avoid their own Ellen moment, a new industry shorthand for a reputational time bomb. Kelly Clarkson began opening her seasons with a crew-wide culture reset meeting. James Corden, dogged by his own rudeness rumors, started pointedly thanking his staff by name on air. Meanwhile, former Ellen employees found solidarity, forming a private Slack group called Survivors of the Smile. In this digital sanctuary, they shared job leads and therapy recommendations. The scandal, in an unexpected twist, empowered a new generation of whistleblowers and forced an entire industry to confront its long-standing issues. Ellen's story is a cautionary tale about brand worship. When a celebrity turns a slogan like "Be kind" into a profit engine, it's crucial to question the authenticity behind it. The public has grown savvier and less forgiving of hypocrisy. Yet the lesson may not have been fully learned by its central figure. In a 2025 public appearance, Ellen dismissed the deeply reported stories of her toxic workplace as mere clickbait. Despite her supposed retirement, she has also expressed interest in returning to television, perhaps with a talk show in the UK. The era of the untouchable star is over. Accountability is the new currency. But it seems some are still hoping the public has a short memory, proving that the public demands not just a good show, but a good employer. Conclusion, final takeaway. She danced, she gave, and for 19 years we clapped along, convinced Ellen was as kind as her brand proclaimed. The truth, however, is that the brand was a business model, not a belief system. The downfall felt shocking only because the illusion had been so profitable and meticulously maintained. So next time a famous face tells you exactly who they are, especially if they're selling it on a coffee mug, maybe wait a decade or two before you fully buy in. Fame hides everything until it doesn't.